Hi, I'm Dr. Brant Larsen. Welcome to the video. We're talking about the 18 symptoms of thyroid dysfunction. Now, I don't know how many thyroid videos I've made. I've made a lot more than is actually on my YouTube channel, but I've made a ton of them over the years because it seems that, for one, more and more people are getting thyroid issues, but two, more people are thinking about it and are aware of it, and they need more understanding of this topic in general. So we're going to go through another just different perspective on it. Like I said, I have a number of videos. Watch those as well. Especially watch the one about the lab testing needed, because a lot of people, their lab tests look normal, completely normal. At least the panel that is normally run, which is a pretty pathetic panel, by the way. So watch that video. But their lab tests look normal, yet they don't feel normal. They have all these symptoms that are going to be listed here, and they're just not getting things done right. Okay, you can have thyroid dysfunction and it won't show up on a lab test just yet. Right? It might be 15 years down the road before your body finally starts to show that dysfunction in your blood system. So it's not the be-all end-all. First, we'll look at underfunction, so hypothyroid, so an underperforming thyroid gland. Number one, overweight. How many people are overweight, exercising like crazy, trying and dieting? Hard time losing weight. So one of the problems with modern people is that they're just not consistent. Okay? So in your past, maybe you're overweight now, and you weren't consistent, and you've done these diets like this, up and down, and up and down, and up and down, different diets, different things, trying different things. So your metabolism is constantly doing this up and crash, and it's all over the place. And it's really hard on your thyroid. It's really hard to get things moving. And if you have an underlying thyroid condition that's not being addressed, you're going to have a hard time losing weight as well. So overweight's our first symptom. Number two, require more sleep, because the whole body is fatigued. Every cell in your body has thyroid hormone receptors to it. So your thyroid impacts everything. It's critically important. It sets the metabolic rate. It sets, think of it like in car terms, it's your RPMs, okay? So when you're just sitting there at the stoplight, if you look at that little dial, that little needle, it's maybe at 1,000 or something, around there, right? But when you step on the gas, it does this, right? It goes up to 4,000, 5,000, whatever. And that's when your adrenals kick in, when you're not at rest anymore. So your thyroid gland sets your basal metabolic rate. So it's the rate, sorry, my nose is itchy. It sets your rate when you're just lying down and just kind of chilling out. Okay, that's your rate. So if it's under, the rate is too low. So your internal furnace is low. Your metabolic rate is too low. That's why you get overweight, because it's not burning enough calories. The rate is too low. So same thing, more sleep. You're not getting enough information out to the body. You're not getting enough, get up and go. 3, depression. Also cry easily. When you're toned down, you're more in like a blah type state and you get more depressed. 4, constipation. Again, decreased peristalsis. Peristalsis is the movement of food through your GI tract. There's actually muscle contractions that pushes it through this whole tube system, right? So again, when your RPMs are down, when your internal furnace is down, when your metabolic rate is down, your peristalsis is going to be down. So you start to have constipation, and it might be, I go every other day, or I have a bowel movement every 3 days or 4 days or 5 days. I've seen every 2 weeks before in a patient. Terrible, to have that happen, but we actually fixed it in I think a week, and she was going every single day and everything went great. It was perfect then. But constipation happens, or it could be real hard, because the more it sits in there, the more water gets extracted. So constipation is number 4. Out of breath, so decreased depth of respiration. Again, that rate is too low, so you're just kind of barely living life. Okay, you're barely alive. You don't have the energy to do anything. So you don't have the energy to breathe, one of your most critical functions, so out of breath. 6, painful periods. Obviously, this is just for the women. It doesn't have to just do with the ovaries or just do with the uterus. Imbalance of estrogen, progesterone by the ovaries, painful periods. Your thyroid gland has a factor in this as well. Number 7, cold hands, cold feet. Sluggish circulation. Again, if your circulation isn't moving, kind of like peristalsis. If your RPMs are way down here, your peristalsis is going to be slower, right? Same thing with your circulation, because your heart, your blood vessels, everything has receptors for thyroid hormones, which kick it up in gear. So you're going to have sluggish circulation. You're going to have cold hands, cold feet because of it. And you may have been cold your entire life, and you think it's normal. All that says is that you've had a dysfunction your entire life. Number 8, thinning of hair. Again, you're going to decrease energy. What do you need hair for, right? Number 9, brittle nails. This can happen also from mineral imbalance, calcium, magnesium, and trace minerals, selenium, zinc. All kinds of things happen in the nails, but one of them also has to do with your thyroid gland. If the thyroid isn't working right, you could have brittle nails because of it. 10, chapped lips, similar to the brittle nails. So if your lips are your tissue mineral reserve, or one of them. So when you've lost the minerals in your body, you'll lose it out of the lips first. People get chapped lips. So you got to have good mineral status, but thyroid gland plays into this as well. Number 11, hands and feet that peel or crack. So if you get like cracked heels and just peeling and things like that on the feet. Could also be kidneys. I see it very common with kidneys as well. Kidneys or thyroid. 12, decreased resistance to infection. So again, you drop your rate down and now your immune system isn't revved up as much, right? All your little army, your army of troops is kind of like tired, right? Oh, there's an infection coming in. Let's go get it. But if you get those RPMs working in the right range, now they're at that perfect level. They're sharp. Everything's working, and you can fight off infections. The other thing has to do with iodine. I'll make a video on iodine sometime, but iodine is very, very important for infections. You have a higher iodine in your body, now you can fight infections. Iodine's been used for a long time. Most everyone is, motorcycle just went by, most everyone is really deficient in iodine. Really drastically deficient in iodine, especially where I live in this Minnesota region, this central part of the country where we're in the goiter belt, right? We don't get the sea, right? So iodine is important, and when you have thyroid dysfunction, you pretty much have an iodine deficiency as well. And there's things that you have to do with that, so you can't usually just run out and just take iodine right away, but you are going to be deficient in iodine. And that's going to drop your resistance to infections as well. So one, like I said with this one, iodine levels are dropped. Number 2 would have to do with that metabolic rate dropping, so your immune system isn't quite as I don't know, eager, I guess you could say. 13, muscle cramps, again, goes back to chapped lips, goes back to brittle nails. Minerals, very, very deficient in the body. Also has to do with thyroid function too, though. Now, we get to the overfunction. So obviously, it's going to be the exact opposite, right? So we have trouble putting on weight. So the metabolic rate's way up here. The furnace is way up here. The RPMs are way up here. So it's too high. So you take in calories and boom, your body burns them off just like that. Okay, that's an overfunctioning thyroid gland, hyperthyroid gland. 15, you sweat easily. Again, metabolic rate, the internal furnace is way high. So it's the opposite. Instead of being cold and shivery all the time, you're just sweating easily. Number 15, diarrhea. Again, metabolic rate's up, RPMs are up, peristalsis is up. You get diarrhea because the food gets pushed through really fast. It doesn't have as much time to extract the water and conserve the water back into the body. So you get dehydrated, you get diarrhea as well. 16, anxious, nervous, worrier. So kind of the opposite of depression. Okay, so you're high strung, you're set way up here. They're usually the thinner person, they can't put on weight. They're anxious, they're nervous, they're a worrier because they're their metabolic rate's way up here. Everything's just going. And part of that has to do with, well, one, personality. People are different personalities too. But part of it has to do with maybe your thyroid gland isn't working exactly how it's supposed to. 16, hard time falling asleep again. The rate's high, right? You're just going to constantly sit there at night and go, I have this to do, that to do, this to do. I'm nervous, I'm worrying, I'm anxious about all this stuff, right? Hyperthyroid. 17, hand tremors, same thing with the nervous system. If you're set too high, you're not able to calm down and just hold, right? Especially when people get under stress. When they get under stress, then the tremors start to come out more because your metabolic rate's set higher. Those RPMs are set higher. And number 18, protrusion of the eyeballs. So the eyeballs are kind of like sticking out at you. It's called exophthalmos. And this is more an advanced stage of hyperthyroid or overfunction, but the eyeballs kind of start protruding out. My website, drlarsen.com, if you want to learn more. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Hope you enjoy it. I try to put these together to make them easy for you to understand. Make it a white background, make it simple, nothing fancy on here. Just make it easy for you, because I think everyone needs to understand and learn what is happening to their body. And I get comments from people across the world now, Malaysia and Singapore and wherever that people come from. They email me, and I'm glad I'm making them. I'm taking my time to do it, but I'm glad I'm doing it because you need an owner's manual. You at least need to see some of the different things that are happening with the body, and not just from that pharmaceutical mind or the let's go fix it mind. Let's see, what is the dysfunction, what's occurring, what are some of the things that happen, what are some of the symptoms that are occurring with a certain organ system. So hope you enjoy it. I'll see you again soon.